In the balance of human biology, all bodies are created equal. Everybody's about 70% water, regardless of race, religion, gender, sex, or sexual orientation. We all die after about 7 days without drink. But the idiots obsessed with category have decided that the double X chromosome designates me subordinate to all those with an X and a Y. Intersect those two X's with the fact of my blackness, and my existence is coded as dangerous, hostile, a direct threat to the endurance of the white patriarchy. And everybody knows white men have spent centuries appropriating what they wanted. The gold they found in Africa wasn't enough, so they packed human bodies head to toe, submerged in a swamp of our own urine and feces. They dragged us across violent waters. Many of us drowned our young rather than let them live at the mercy of white men and their sons and their grandsons and their grandsons' sons. Just to keep breathing, some of us became one-dimensional. We had to become one thing or the other, spinster or mother, victim or virgin, damsel or whore. Some of us went underground, slipping away into the sunken place. Others revolted, took up arms, crawled through sewage, defied geography to build new lives in new cities. And that's how I found myself in Brooklyn, spending my nights reading tales of Nubians bathing naked in the Nile, Kushite queens equal to kings, all of them praying to a black woman named Isis, the most powerful goddess among gods. And I imagine if I were Isis, if I were the most powerful goddess among gods, I would use my might to smite every motherfucker who ever looked at a little girl with lust in his flesh. I would exact vengeance on behalf of every black woman who has disproportionately borne the weight of racial and sexual violence, while everybody in the suffragette movement and the black civil rights movement and the LGBT movement turned a blind eye to her swollen lips mouthing, "Me too. Somebody help me get him off me too, me too. Me too." For centuries, black women have endured the culture of rape and racism combined. For centuries, the world has stood silent while black women and girls were bullied by black men and white women alike. For centuries, anyone who wanted to hit something or own someone could decide we were it. Without consequence, anyone could tag the black woman, the dark girl, the universal punching bag. For centuries, rape was a word black mothers never spoke aloud, but every daughter knew what it meant. It meant lie still, keep quiet. Ignore that girl screaming too loudly. Don't you dare shame this good black family. And one day something brilliant happened. A black woman named Tarana Burke inspired wealthy white women to say, "Me too, too." And herein wriggles the strange rubric of America's particular strain of racism. Ironically, the viral mobility of the Me Too hashtag was only possible because a white woman with power retweeted a black woman's words. 2 words which unleashed a wildfire of public testimony, pulling the shroud of sexual violation from the shadows, shoving it onto primetime TV. Yet 12 years after Tarana Burke's Me Too moment, black women are still largely missing from the public dialogue about sexual assault. And I'm saying black women, are so tired of being disregarded. If you gave black feminists any room to speak honestly, this is the letter we might pen to the white feminist whose crying consistently drowns out the sound of our suffering. Are you ready? Dear weeping white women, even as we cannot find a safe space to show you when or where or how we were torn open, we are only holding the sorrow to keep our hearts from imploding. We are unable to process our pain with you because we are exhausted from centuries of holding you and your children, and we have a really hard time trusting you because you have never been able to stand by us. We are so tired of explaining ourselves. And by the way, if you wish to know more about the genesis of our rage, please Google us. Or maybe you can read Bell Hooks or Brittany Cooper or any of the blogs of the bevy of black women writers your white publishers are too afraid to publish. For centuries, we have been carrying the weight of your white fragility, year after year, marching for everyone else's freedom, protesting for everybody else's privilege. Well, this crazy mad gaggle of global witches and hags are done braiding beads of silent acceptance. Simply put, in this motherfucking century, we intend to take up more motherfucking space. Sincerely yours, Black womanists. Black women are now crafting a collective response to centuries of being under everybody's water. We are a rising tsunami of fury come back to take back what was carried away without consent. And while we stand in here being candid, I might as well confess to you, I don't give a fuck if you don't like me or my big mouth. Black like my lover's ass. It has never endeared me to the gatekeepers of white civility. My proclivity to speak the unspeakable is essentially the only defense I have against the indefensible violence of your man-made history. Inside my Brooklyn house, the one that I can barely still afford, there is no shadow talk of birds or bees. We trade indecipherable metaphors for concrete words that will not confuse my daughter. I tell her your mouth, your elbow, your hair, your arms, your legs, your vagina, your whole body belongs to no one but you. And if you ever feel even a tiny bit unsafe, if you open your mouth, you scream for help. If anybody at all does anything to make you uncomfortable, you tell me. I promise I will always believe you in a world that so regularly demonstrates how much it hates you. This is what it means to be assigned the label of black and girl. And yet, black women continue to survive, even thrive, arrive into adulthood with the ability to laugh and love and wear hoop earrings and tight skirts and found social movements to liberate other motherfuckers from bondage. If any of this sounds like I am speaking your story, this poem be for you, my love. If you have ever had to argue that you are no less deserving than your white counterpart, I am speaking to you and for you, my love. If you have ever, the rest of you, if you have ever been inspired by the magic of a black woman with thighs and ass that move mountains in its stride, if you have ever been told you speak fiercely from the thick lip of your own truth, if you have ever been called girl like it was a fucking insult, if you have ever been called bitch, come step forward now. If you are itching to light a fucking bonfire in the house of the white patriarchy, come and stand with black women now. If you want to be free like Harriet Tubman, weapon in hand, wading through unfriendly waters, her power compelling the freedom of even those who did not want to be free. If you desire to be confrontational like Sojourner, if you wish to be audacious like Audrey, antagonistic like Angela, gangster like Winnie Mandela, angry like Assata Shakur, you come and you roar with us at these rallies. You sit beside us in schools. You sing with us in church. You stand with us where it matters. You vote with us and vote fucking for us at these polls. Travel with us in the virtual, in the flesh, over these waters they have used against us as weapons, against the lands we call rock, we call home. Let us crack open this ground with a fire uprising that will never again die down. We have to tell them, next time we come in, we gonna use fire. We don't use water. Fire next time. No more water, we say. Fire next time. No more water. We go come with some motherfucking fire for your ass next time.